Greetings!
Hello.
Today I will tell you some things about ENBs and management of ENBs. I will tell you about two ENBs. One of them is Cinematic ENB New Dimension, which is
Hello.
the recommended one from the Bevilex Modlist. And the other one is Candid REBORN, that is a very freshly released one that is also aimed at the Bevilex Modlist. I will tell you also how to switch between ENBs, particularly these two ENBs, and what I do if an ENB needs some other files to achieve the intended effect. So here we are at Veja, the testing site for Oblivion for Bevilex Modlist. This is the Cinematic ENB New Dimension, the standard one. I use it with the ENB Prepass FX file from a Skyrim ENB tetrachromatic, and it works as intended most of the times, with one exception. When I draw my sword, the weapon will be blurred. Well, it's somehow problematic, and I will also show you how we can fix this issue. So this is Cinematic ENB New Dimension, very pretty, with the coloring file from Bevilex and the motion blur file from Bevilex and the sunrays INI for the sunrays shader of the Oblivion Reloaded. So all these, also the skin shader is by Bevilex from the various INI files on the page. So this is the Cinematic ENB New Dimension. It is bright, interiors are fairly bright, it is not overcolored, and I like it with this depth of field from the Skyrim ENB. So, well, this is just a particular one situation where we observe it now. If we go into an interior, you can see interiors are pretty bright.
So, what brings you here today?
And installing this ENB is covered in my video series for Bevilex Modlist. How to install it together with Oblivion Reloaded. If you watch video 7 and video 11 and video 12 from this list, you should be fine installing Oblivion Reloaded and installing this ENB. It is almost perfect. What makes an ENB good? It needs to be universal. So no matter exterior, interior, night or day, sunrise, sunset, dusk, it has to look fine in all these situations to make it a good ENB. And the Cinematic ENB looks nice. It is universal. However, ENBs with time might get boring. They get boring for me. I switch ENBs, then I come back to them when if they are good, and I've been missing them for some time, then I'm coming back to them. So this is the Cinematic. with the ENB prepass from the Skyrim ENB tetrachromatic. Now we will switch to Candid ENB for a while, so stay tuned. And here we are in the same spot at the same time of day with the Candid ENB. As you can see,
Hello.
having them side by side shows the differences. It is slightly more colorful. It has a different feel to it, more a fantasy one than a cinematic one, maybe, if I could say that. On the first glimpse, when I changed from one to the other, when I changed from cinematic to this one, I said, wow, this looks better. But better is not the best word here. It looks different, but it has its downsides too. There is no perfect ENB in the world. Both of those ENBs are very versatile and universal, but they have huge differences. So the sun sprites we see more colorful, more fantasy-like, and one big difference is how the depth of field works. This one adjusts itself slowly and makes a strong depth of field in the far terrain, as you can see now. That helps to hide some imperfections of the Oblivion's depth lot, so distant objects, which I don't use to the fullest because this would cripple the engine and I would have a slideshow of 20 FPS if I would use all the LOD mods to their full extent. And most importantly, it doesn't do very close depth of field. That's why when I draw the weapon, it is not blurred. Also, third person works better with this one, not blurring everything around the hero. And as the colors are concerned, I like them very much. But the cinematic one sometimes looks slightly more realistic. This one is a bit too colorful. This is a different coloring INI that I am using for this ENB. The one provided by the author, AverageModding. Yeah, so one more difference between this one and the other one. Let me just see the brightness, because I know I have adjusted it before. I would like to see. Yes, the brightness was set to 1 in this setup tool here. I set it to 124, so I rose the brightness quite a bit. You can input values directly here and then click on save configuration here, and then your values will be saved in the ENB series.ini. Let's make perfectly clear weather. Well, basically when I changed from the cinematic new dimension to this one, I had the wow effect because it is so different. But it is not perfect, because no ENB is perfect, as I said before. So let's enter an interior now. And the interiors, originally they were a bit darker than in the other. There is more contrast in interiors for sure. but now it is bright enough, it is not too dark. However, caves and dungeons might be very dark with this one.
So, what brings you here today?
This might be a downside for many people, but I don't... Well, it's not bothering me.
Yes?
So, this
Carry
is
on.
the Candid ENB ENB by AverageModding. So let's go out of this house now. Where is the door? Damn it. Ah, I know.
How are
And
you?
that's the same evening that we had with the previous ENB. And I think this is the ENB that I am going to be using for now. If I get bored with that, I will try another one, maybe the cinematic ENB again. The good thing about Candid Reborn is that the author did it with Bevilex Modlist in mind, so it is very well adjusted for Bevi's Modlist. Okay, so now let's get technical, and I will show you how to switch from the cinematic ENB to this one, and how to switch back. Stay tuned. Okay, so let's go and see where we are when we have the cinematic ENB new dimension installed, as in video 7, video 11 and video 12. So this is Vrybash, and if you did Bevilex Modlist and maybe also watched my video series, then I covered installation of Oblivion Reloaded, and then in video 12 I made a little ini mod, and then I also tweaked it further. So this mod over here is created by myself. Custom settings for Oblivion Reloaded, Oblivion Stutter Remover, and the cleanup script. Custom settings are here. I'm trying to keep all my custom settings that are within the data folder of Oblivion in a little mod. When we double click it in the installers tab of Vrybash, we will see it has the correct structure, and that's why it is installed correctly into the game. So now the archive opened in 7-zip, and when I go into data, I have the cleanup ini. This is for the Curtis cleanup mod. It was installed in the beginning, and there is a change in the default ini. I can even open it here and show you. Clean actors set to 0. This is according to Bevilex Modlist instructions. So this little mod of mine just delivers this ini change into the game. Then under data we have OPSE, plugins, and the Oblivion Reloaded ini with my custom choices, and the stutter remover for Oblivion also with my custom choices. Apart from that, I have incorporated Bevilex various ini files for Oblivion Reloaded under data, shaders, Oblivion Reloaded, and then for each of those shaders there are the files provided by Bevilex, including the coloring ini. So that's the state after my video guide part 12. And let's look into the game folder Oblivion. We also have ENB installed, cinematic ENB new dimension, which is basically those three files. We have the d3d9.dll from the from Boris Vorontsov ENB dev page. This is the engine for the ENB, and then we have these three files over here from Cinematic ENB New Dimension. Well, actually this one I use is from Skyrim Tetrachromatic ENB, as I noted in my videos. So now, if we want to install another ENB, we will leave the engine file from Boris Vorontsov page intact, and we will highlight the three files that make up the Cinematic ENB with all my custom INI settings and my custom effect prepas. Right click on it, 7-zip, add to archive, and call it Cinematic ENB.7z, and create an archive with those three files. Once I've created this archive, I can safely delete them, because now I have a backup over here. What I will do now is open a web browser and open the Candid ENB REBORN page. Go to the Files section, and here we have the Candid ENB REBORN. Download this file manually. As you can see over here, the author also provided, which I haven't seen yet, a tool for brighter dungeons, which I will use in the end, because the dungeons are very dark now. Install after normal version if you want brighter dungeons than original version. Remember you need all natural. Let's look at the structure of this file. Okay, it's another ENB series file. That's interesting. Okay, but for now we take this file over here, Candid ENB REBORN. Once you have downloaded this file, you will receive this over here, Candid ENB REBORN. Inside the archive, you will find, however, 5 independent ENB files and a data folder. And not to mess up our game permanently, I will create a little mod from this data folder. So let's extract these ENB files into the game folder, into Oblivion, and this data folder, let's extract it to Essential Candid Data 2017. Okay, now I should receive this folder. Is it here? Yes, I needed to refresh with F5. So inside this folder where I extracted the data, I have now the data, and let's look what's inside. Shaders, Oblivion Reloaded, coloring. So here is a custom coloring INI provided by the author of Candid REBORN. His name is AverageModding. So what I will do is I will add this data folder that I extracted from the ENB files into a separate 7-zip file. Add to archive, and let's call it Candid coloring.7z, and create the archive. Here it is. And what I can do now is take my VRI-bash, and knowing that I have the structure correct inside the archive, so data, shaders, Oblivion Reloaded, coloring, and the INI file, I can drag this Candid coloring 7z that I just created from the data folder into my installers tab of Vrybash. And it's here now, ready to be installed. So let's right click on it and install. And what happened just now is the Candid Coloring 7z has overwritten the coloring ini file inside the shaders folder that was provided originally by my previous custom settings mod with all the Bevilex custom inis for the shaders, among others. So this one file will be now provided by Candid Coloring 7z. And to have a proof, we can check, we can click on the Candid Coloring 7z, click on conflicts, and there you have it, black on white. This file, coloring ini, is now provided by this mod, Candid Coloring 7z, which is numbered 223 in the installers tab now. And it says lower, so there are mods with lower priority, which are higher in this order here, that means they are lower. Number 220 and number 218. And when we look at these files, 220 is my custom ini mod for Oblivion Reloaded shaders as well, and 218 is the original Oblivion Reloaded mod. And the winner is 223 Candid Coloring 7z. So in this case, not only I have installed, I have copied the ENB files that were inside the archive of Candid REBORN to my game folder over here, but I have also installed this little mod that swaps the coloring ini to the one provided by the author of Candid. And this should work alright. One more thing we can do is go inside Oblivion game folder and open the ENB series ini and check if there is something that I might want to change. For instance, the key to change turn the ENB on or off is set to 123, which is shift, which is the F12 key, but I have it for Steam screenshots, so I will change this key to 122, which is F11. So now when I press F11, Shift F11, I will turn the ENB on or off. Furthermore, let's see over here. I see that the shadow blurring is disabled, so I will enable it, set it to true. And also the Edge AA anti-aliasing I will set to true. And then the last change that I want to make is in the color correction section. Here the brightness is set to 105. I will change it to 124 as it better corresponds to my monitor and stuff. Okay, let's save the file. Now my ENB series ini has been altered to my liking, and now everything is ready. Now we can start the game and test. If I would like to go back to cinematic ENB, remember before I created this cinematic ENB.7z over here. What I would need to do is uninstall coloring, then reinstall this mod and delete the ENB files from the Candid ENB. There are 5 pieces, each of them starts with ENB. Then open my cinematic ENB 7z archive that I created before and extract the files to my game folder again. That's what I would need to do to switch to Cinematic ENB again. Pretty simple. One more thing we will actually do is quickly download from the Candid ENB REBORN the file to make the dungeons brighter. I want to test that later, so I will show you how to get it, download it manually. I will download it to my Oblivion Essentials. It's called Optional Brighter Dungeons. Let's get it. Alright, here is my game folder, and here I will open the Essential and take Oblivion. No, it's called Optional. Optional Brighter Dungeons. Open the archive and just overwrite the ENB series ini. So after doing that, I need to reapply all my changes that I have done to the file before. Let's open it again and let's see from the top. What do we have? Input 122, key use effect, then shadow blurring true, anti-aliasing true, and brightness 124. That's my preferred settings. You might try different brightness. Let's save it and we're done. So now we have the other file over here that is supposed to make the dungeons brighter. Okay, fair enough. So let's see now again how the game looks like after these operations we've done now. There we are, back in the game.
Hello.
Candid ENB is installed. We have slightly more color. We also don't have the weapon blur. This problem is now gone. As you can see, there is a strong blur on the background, which I like. But when we focus on the background, then it quickly comes back. And there is also some strong blur on the far background. If you have some far objects but not so far, then the things that are even far away, they will be still strongly blurred up to the moment when you focus on them. We have some sun sprites. So this is how it looks. Candid ENB REBORN. Very nice project. So now I waited for the morning. We have the sun from the other side. The mountains look beautiful. When I look here at this little hill, the mountains get blurred away. Very nice effect. And very nice alternative to the new dimension Cinematic ENB. I would like on this occasion to thank wholeheartedly, say a big thank you to authors of both of the presets. F.R. Dillon, which is the author of Cinematic ENB New Dimension, and also AverageModding, the author of the Candid REBORN and the previous Candids. Great work, guys. Thanks to Bevilex for his mod list, and thank you to all the mod authors of all the beautiful mods we can enjoy now. And to Boris Voronsov for the ENB series. So, well,
hello,
guys, have fun modding. If you have questions, ask them below the video in the comments, or go straight to the forum on the Nexus page of Bevilex and ask there. We have a little thriving community, very helpful people, also thanks to all of them. One last thing I wanted to mention: if you want the depth of field effect from the Candid REBORN ENB into the cinematic one to get rid of the weapon blurring, for instance, or if you just like it, open your Oblivion folder, open the, well, let's assume you have cinematic ENB installed. Then what you need to do is just open the Candid REBORN archive and drag the ENB effect prepass FX into your game folder, and once you're done with that, open enbseries.ini and change the value for depth of field fade time to 0.61. Save the file and you're done. From now on you have the Candid ENB REBORN depth of field. However, it might not fit to the cinematic atmosphere of the cinematic ENB. You have to judge for yourself. If you don't like it, you can, like me, use the ENB prepass FX from the tetrachromatic ENB for Skyrim when you are using cinematic ENB. So thank you for watching and see you in the next videos, and of course, above all, have fun modding.